Hey folks, Jim Horton, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, back in the studio live on the 97th floor of our offices, high above beautiful downtown Columbia, Missouri. So today's show is going to be a little bit longer than most, but I think you're going to like it. I'm going to have a little bit of fun here today. And I guess to kind of to lead into this a little bit, I'm almost 7 feet tall, and when you're almost 7 feet tall, you have a literal different perspective on things. Then when you sort of take my personality in general, I have a way of just kind of looking at things a little bit differently anyway. Perspective. So when I'm going through and I was trying to figure out some different content ideas to do for the show, I noticed that there were a lot of other communities that had top 10 lists. And that kind of got me to thinking a little bit. And then when that little different piece of perspective kicked in, I had a thought of, you know what, I don't want to do just a vanilla top 10 list. Let's do something different. Because when you think about any community wherever you've lived, and I've lived in and visited many, it's not all good all the time. Every place has its pluses, its minuses, its pros, its cons, it's good, it's bad. And you know what, maybe something I like is maybe something that you don't. So to just throw out a top 10 list somehow or another feels like false advertising. So I'm going to do a top 5 list. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about both sides of the same thing, something I love and hate about that thing. I don't know if I'm explaining that well or not, but it will when I get started here. Let's get going with the top 5 things I love and hate about Columbia, Missouri. First up on the list, the outdoors. Now, Columbia and the surrounding area, we lack for nothing to do outside. We have state parks. We even have a national forest. We have people parks, dog parks, conservation areas where you can get out and you can hike, you can hunt, you can fish, you can just, enjoy wildlife in general, which, to the surprise of many, includes a sizable population of bald eagles. Yeah. We also have the Katy Trail State Park running along the southwestern border of Boone County, which is part of the largest Rails to Trails state park in the United States. And off of that, then there's also a spur, the MKT, that runs all the way into the heart of downtown Columbia. And you do have to be aware when you're talking to us locals. And there's plenty of trails around town as well, but we refer to all of them as the trail. Could be the Katy Trail, could be MKT, could be something off Grindstone, could be the one at Stevens Park. Doesn't really matter. It's all the trail. So just pay attention to context. You'll understand what we're talking about. Plenty to love with the outdoors here in Columbia and Boone County. What's there to hate? How about bugs? Yeah, when you're going for a walk on the trail, you better make sure that you're slathered with off, because a herd, gaggle, swarm of mosquitoes will come and they will carry you away. We also have these things called horseflies, and when you're going down the trail, you better have a ball cap on, because that, for some reason or other, seems to be the only form of self-defense that those things recognize, and they will chase you down the trail. And while you're looking for winged danger to come down and get you, that thing that you think is a stick on the trail, yeah, no, that's a snake. And wildlife, snakes are just like any other wildlife. If you leave them alone, they're going to leave you alone, and stepping on one does not qualify as leaving it alone. So watch where you're going. Now, our ability to get out and enjoy all of these outdoor activities that our area has is highly dependent on the next item on the list, the weather. Now, I'm a 4 seasons guy. I love everything that every single season has to bring to the table. And here in Columbia, we certainly get all 4. That smell of leaves in the fall when you're setting up your tailgate for a Tiger football game, or just all of the colors that pop out in the spring after a winter's nap, and then also just the quiet that comes from a blanket of snow. I guess unless you're near Stevens Park and you've got all the screams of the kids bouncing off the hills for sledding down and thinking that they're going to die. And then if you're a fan of thunderstorms, oh man, just to sit there and just watch that big green thunderhead roll in and you can smell the rain before it gets to you. Yeah, that's the stuff, man. So what's there really to hate about the weather? Well, how about instead of just being able to enjoy all four seasons, you get them all in the same day? Commonly heard around here, don't like the weather? Wait a minute, it'll change, which inspires no end of memes like this one and this one. But don't believe me? Here, take a look at this radar image from February 2019. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, fog, flooding, tornado watch, thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me, Galileo. On this day in Colombia, the low was 12 degrees. The day previous, it was sunny as all get out with a high near 70. Hashtag, wait a minute. Hashtag, it'll change. Now, we don't have extended stretches of heat like, say, they do in Houston or Atlanta, but it gets plenty hot here. And with the Missouri River so close, humidity is always up high enough to feel it. So there are days that even though, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do outdoors, nobody wants to be there because it's too hot. In the winter, it's not unheard of to have a couple of snowstorms. Well, we'll get 8 inches or more of snow, and we also get several ice storms. But along with, wait a minute, it'll change, snows here rarely last anymore longer than a week or so before they're all melted off. But it does remind me that when we do especially get that first snow here in Columbia, I've always said there's two kinds of drivers in Columbia: those that are too scared to drive in the snow, and those that aren't scared enough. Chad, just because your Suburban has 4-wheel drive does not mean you can take that corner at 45 miles an hour. Good old Moira. Nothing beats Moira. Anyway, it provides a good segue into the next item on my list, which is traffic. Now, I've lived in St. Louis, Seattle, and for a short while, Shanghai, China. I've done traffic. I know traffic, which is why I love traffic in Columbia, Missouri, because there isn't any. Like my dad used to say, son, if it takes you more than 10 minutes to get where you're going in Columbia, Missouri, you're probably lost. So Columbia is a little bit bigger than it was when my dad used to say that. But Columbia is still, it's still a relatively small town. You're not going to lose half a day just because you have to go to the other side of town. Traffic in Columbia, Missouri isn't all peaches and cream. We do have this thing that we call rush minute, which is pockets of areas that just are overwhelmed by traffic and they just can't handle it for a short period of time. Locals know where they are. 63 and 70, Vaughter School Road, Nifong, Chapel Hill, and Fairview. Every local has at least 10 different little back roads way to get around where these rush minute places pop up. Don't bother trying to argue with us about whether or not it's faster. It's not the point that they're faster. The point is just to not sit in traffic. And now the city has done a pretty good job of expanding thoroughfares and doing some different things to help traffic move faster. And they've also put in traffic circles at just about every intersection in town. And all of us townies, we haven't figured out how to use them yet.
I guess what we do is just drive around this circle here. It should be the second left exit. There's the hotel. Hey, look, kids! There's Big Ben and there's Parliament!
Moving on. Next up, downtown. I simply love downtown Columbia, Missouri. It's got pretty much everything that you need. Hundreds of shops and restaurants and bars. Prom dresses, check. Men's formal wear, check. Florists, check. Tattoos and piercings, check. Vintage clothes, check. Kitchen gear, check. Professional services, around 9,000 coffee shops, check. And the variety of cuisines that are represented for all of the different restaurants that are in the downtown area is simply amazing. And I do have to say, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to 44 Canteen, whom we lovingly refer to as Conference Room B, because we share the alley with them, and we go there sometimes. What's there to hate about downtown? Well, I'm gonna start with parking. Because it's so popular, it can be difficult to find a place to park downtown. I can't tell you how much of my life I have lost being a parking vulture, circling around and around and around and around downtown Columbia, waiting for somebody to back out. And when you finally do get that spot, you better be quick with that change in the parking meter. They don't mess around. Parking enforcement is no joke in Columbia. And by a quirk of organization, parking enforcement is done by fully deputized law enforcement officers. Yeah, that is the Columbia Police Department that you're trying to argue with. So thank you, sir. May I have another? And just move on. Leave a few of those tickets unpaid? Yeah, don't be surprised if they put a boot on your car. Leave a few more of them unpaid? Don't be surprised if there's a warrant out for your arrest. So I'm going to stick here kind of on the hate side as I navigate into the last item on my list, which is students. All of that problem that you have with parking in downtown Columbia, Missouri, graduation weekend, parents' weekend, homecoming, I guess pretty much any home football game. I mean, you name it. There are events that happen through the university, not only just Mizzou, but Columbia College and Stevens as well, where there is just a massive humanity in this town, and good luck getting into a restaurant. Good luck parking downtown. When the students first show up, good luck even getting checked out at Target. Even traffic is worse. I mean, it's hard not to notice about 40,000 new bodies just all dropping on the city at the same time. And let's be honest, it's easy to stereotype the students and put them in a large bucket for their youthful indiscretions and kind of tag them as temporary residents until they graduate and become contributing members to society, and we quit having to babysit somebody else's kids. But let's face it, we all love the students. Columbia is a college town through and through by more than just definition of what a college town would be. Stevens College, University of Missouri, Columbia College. It is a collection of youth that keeps a certain vibe going in the city all of the time. All of those restaurants downtown with all of those different cuisines, that has to do directly with the global pull of all of this higher education that we have here in Columbia. And so we get to partake in entrepreneurs opening up restaurants and different things to take advantage of what these global students bring to our community. And as you can tell, I sort of enjoy my football Saturdays. Without students, there is no football Saturdays. No tailgate. No M-I-Z. So yeah, lots of love for students. And there you have it. 5 things that I both love and hate about Columbia, Missouri. Are there other things that I love more? Are there other things that I hate more? Maybe so, but it's just more fun to kind of pick one and see if you can hit both sides of it. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Hey, drop a comment below. Let me know what's on your list of things that you both love and hate about Columbia, Missouri. Till then, JimHorton.com. I will talk next week. Bye-bye.